What's up, guys? So in this video we're looking at the HTP Inverarc 200TLP stick welder, but we're going to be using it as a TIG welder today, as a Lift Arc TIG welder. So a couple things. I tried to use my 25-foot water-cooled TIG torch. That's my WeldTech roto head that I have on my 221, but it didn't work with the slope down timer on the Inverarc. I wanted to use the slope down timer to extinguish the arc gradually, because it's a nice feature, but it didn't work, and I called up HTP in case I was missing anything, and Jeff called me back and he said, you know what, you need to use an air-cooled torch. There's too much of a voltage loss. He asked, do I have one? I go, no, but I can set up this 26 that I bought years ago. We put it in order for a 17 air-cooled with a valve, just so I can keep it as a spare. But I set this one up with some gas hose that I had, and some copper wire. I actually used some leftover building wire. That's a twin 8-gauge THHN building wire with the gas hose that I crimped on there to the fitting. And like I said, it's just to do this video as a demo. That's the number 8 cup that I was going to use. I made a little gas lens setup for it. It's just a maroon Scotch-Brite with some mesh screens and a little stainless steel, it's like a little spacer ring to put in between the screens, and it works good. It works great, just like any gas lens. But I said, you know what, for this video, let me break out the Pyrex cup kit for the 17, 18, 26 torches. So it's got a little dust on it because I don't really use it all that much. But I said, you know what, it's a good time to use it. So opened it up and I took out all the parts. It comes with everything: the collet body adapter, the collet body, the wedge collets, and I set it all up on the torch with a 1/8 tungsten. That's another view from the business end of it. Here we have my my grounding, aka my grounding supplementary setup. So even though the table is grounded, I have some little copper battery clamps with 8-gauge wire, and they have little lug terminals on the other side, and they just provide extra grounding, provide an extra path for least resistance, and they just get just clamped on there to the table itself for extra contact there. As far as arc initiation, with Lift Arc, you can obviously touch the tip of the tungsten to the part, but I like to strike it with the filler rod instead. I strike it right there on the edge instead of by the tip. That way it saves wear and tear on the tip. Otherwise the tip starts to wear out when you do a lot of lift arcs right from the tip. So strike it from the side quickly, and it'll start the arc, and it'll save the tip. So that's what I like to use. It's just my preference. Okay, so here you'll see slow motion that you can see where I strike it right there, and then I'm right there. I'm just waiting for the heat to build up. It's at 200 amps, but still it's 1/4-inch plate. So here it is again in slow motion. You can see where, bam, I strike it right there, light it up, and I'm just waiting on the tack to liquefy. Here's the whole thing in regular speed. It's tough with the camera in the way, but I did my best. As you can see, the Pyrex cup, it just helps just get a good view of the puddle from the camera perspective. Instead of blocking out the picture, it just kind of helps you see the perspective better. Like also with with the three-dimensional perception that your eyes process. So just scooting right along. That's a 1/8 filler rod. I should have used a 3/32, but I just had it right then and there, so I just used it. Okay, moving along. It started sticking a little at the end, but it still worked out fine. So here I'm coming to the end, and I just pull up to change the voltage at the arc, and that's 4 seconds of slope down timer. So it worked out great. You can see it picked up a little bit of trash right there in the middle, probably from the little gap that I had right there between the two plates right there. But I mean, it cleaned up cleaned up just fine. So there's a little tiny little pore that opened up right at the end of the at the bead. You can look to the left right there. There's like a tiny little piece of slag. I don't even know where that slag came from. Probably from just from the mill scale that it picked up, and a little pore or two. It looks like two of them. And there's the tip of the tungsten. As you can see, it was preserved pretty good. You know, that's exactly the way it came off right from the weld. All right. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks, guys.